and welcome to everyone. Welcome back to the 2026 Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board Junior Science Quiz Competition. I am your moderator, Mr. Carlin Knight, and welcome to the second encounter in the second round or the quarterfinals of competition. We have two new schools competing in this round. We have the St. Joseph's Academy versus the Princess Margaret Secondary. Last week, we had the first encounter, and we found out that the Seventh-day Adventist, having been victorious against the then reigning champions, the St. Anthony Secondary, will be advancing to the semi-finals. So we know the first of our four schools that will be in our semi-final encounter, and we say congratulations once more to the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary for a hard-fought victory last week. Tonight, we have two new schools, each who will be fighting valiantly, I'm sure, for that second spot in the semi-final encounter in the third round of competition. So, without any further ado, I want to give us an opportunity to meet the schools that are going to be competing tonight. We'll start off with my friends from the St. Joseph's Academy, and we have at my far right, we have Mr. Ranesh Shamala.
Good evening.
We also have the team captain, Dejan Shaw.
Good evening.
And we have Mr. Ajani Purcell.
Good evening.
Now we come over to my friends from the Princess Margaret Secondary. From my far left this time, we have Mr. Jahai Cyprian.
Good evening.
We have the team captain, Miss Peyton Michael.
Good evening.
And finally, we have Mr. Jehu Reed.
Good evening.
And please give them a round of applause. I mean, let's welcome our teams. Let's make them feel welcome, yes. And of course, each week I have a team of experts that are going to help me decide those tickly questions, those toss-up answers that can go either way. And we have from the Ministry of Education, our neutral judge is once again Miss Anita Francis. We also have, you can give her a round of applause, please. We have Mr. Raymond Anthony from the St. Joseph's Academy. And Mr. Volmore Mack from the Princess Margaret Secondary. And as always, each and every week, I have my wonderful timekeeper, Miss Aisha Lynch, who's going to keep me on track. And we also have our wonderful studio audience, our energetic studio audience, who are going to be clapping loudly and cheerfully for all the teams here tonight. And of course, you at home, our listening and viewing audience, without you, we would not, of course, be still around. We thank you for your support throughout the competition, especially over all these years. So with those few words, I want to move right into the very first round of competition. Boys from the Academy, are you ready?
Yes.
And what about my team from the Princess Margaret? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So this is the individual buzzer round. We'll have pairs of students, so two students per pair. And you'll be asked two questions each. The first student to buzz in with the right answer will earn their team 5 points. If you answer incorrectly, it will go over to the other team for a chance to answer for 5 points. If you buzz in with the incorrect answer, if you buzz in before I finish reading the question, I will not be allowed to finish, and you'll have to answer the question with just what you heard. If it's right, 5 points for your team. If it's incorrect, it goes over to the other team for 5 points. So we're going to start from the outer teammates and then move inwards. So I believe that's Ranesh versus Jahai. So buzzers in hand. Ready? Here's your first question. Identify the two elements that make up rust. That is Jahai, Princess Margaret.
Oxygen and water.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. It goes over to St. Joseph's Academy.
Carbon dioxide and water.
I'm afraid that is not correct as well. We are looking for the elements iron and oxygen. The chemical formula for rust, of course, is Fe2O3. So it is iron, Fe, and oxygen, O3. All right, so let's move on. Here is the second question to you both. In family planning, what does the abbreviation IUD mean? I'm afraid that is time, so no one got the answer in that round, or that pair, I should say. And that, of course, IUD, it stands for intrauterine device. So now you know, in case you hear it again, or you see it on your exams, intrauterine device. Let's move on to the second pair, the team captains. I believe this is Peyton versus Dejon. What is the name of the green pigment in leaves? Peyton.
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll is correct for 5 points. You can please clap for the right answers, of course. Let's move on to the second question to this pair. What field of study does acoustics involve? Peyton again. Sorry, it's my apologies. It's from the St. Joseph's Academy.
Sound.
The study of sound is indeed correct for 5 points. So we move on to the last pair in this round. This is, of course, my friend Mr. Reed and Ajani. Here is your two questions, or here are your two questions. Which system in the body contains the lungs? That is St. Joseph's.
Respiratory system.
The respiratory system is correct for 5 points. And the last question in this round is the following. What is the main acid found in lime, lemon? Again, St. Joseph's Academy. That is time, so we'll go over to Mr. Reed for your chance to answer.
Citric acid.
Citric acid is indeed correct for 5 points. And that brings us to the end of the first round. We will take a short pause for these messages from our corporate sponsors, the Antigua Barbuda Social Security Board, and be right back with the scores.
Life moves faster than you can imagine. Without Social Security, the poverty rate among seniors would be 4 times as high. By registering now and making your contributions, you can ensure a better life and a secure future. The Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board, growing to provide for you.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the second encounter in the second round of the 2026 Junior Science Quiz competition. We have 2 schools competing for a chance to be in the third round or the semi-final round of competition. We have the Princess Margaret Secondary, who are coming up against the St. Joseph's Academy. Now, in the first round of competition, we had a tie for 10 points each. So both schools managing to gain 10 points in that round. So the scores are all even Stevens as we now move into the second round of competition. Now this is our clicker round or our multiple choice round. So in this round, the students will see on the screen 4 questions. Each question will have a total of 4 options. They'll be asked to choose the right option, and each correct option will earn their team 5 points per student. So I will also read the questions, and you will have 10 seconds in which to choose the correct options on your clicker. You can change your answers at any point during those 10 seconds, but at the end of the 10 seconds, whatever you choose, A to D is your final answer. You too at home will see the questions on your screen, and we invite you to participate along with us to see if you too can answer the questions. And to my lovely studio audience, you're allowed to participate as well, but we ask you keep your answers to yourself until the question is over and we know the correct answer. Let's begin. Here is the first question. Which of the following is present in a plant cell but not in an animal cell? A, nucleus, B, cell wall, C, cytoplasm, or D, mitochondria? And that is your time. That's 10 seconds. What is the answer? Anybody want to shout it out? Cell wall. Cell wall. B, cell wall. Cell wall is the correct answer for 5 points. Let's move on to the second question. This is a diagram. Please look at your screen carefully. What is the name of the instrument shown on the screen? Slide rule, vernier caliper, B, C, bimetallic strip, or D, micrometer screw gauge. 10 seconds. And that is time. Anybody wants to tell me the answer? No? B, vernier caliper is indeed correct. I see Ranesh shouting it out. Well done. Yes, B, vernier caliper is correct for 5 points. Let's move on to the third question. This says, what provides energy to power the water cycle? A, gravity, B, the sun, C, wind energy, or D, kinetic energy? 10 seconds. And that is time. Anybody wants to try again for the right answer?
The sun.
B, the sun. Yes, that is the correct answer. It seems to be a B option. I don't know. I wouldn't be so bold as to think that the fourth answer is also going to be B, though. So let's just try to take them one at a time. But so far, we seem to have triple Bs. But yes, B, the sun is the right answer. Now, this also will be a diagram question, so please look at your screen carefully. What is the reading on the beaker shown on your screen? A, 20.4 centimeter cube, B, 20.5 centimeter cube, C, 24 centimeter cube, or D, 25 centimeter cube. 10 seconds. That is time. Anybody wants to get the answer there?
24 centimeters.
The answer is C this time, 24 centimeter cube. So if you were just trying to guess based on the previous answers, you'll be wrong this time. It is indeed C, 24 centimeter cube. And that brings us to the end of this round. And we will be right back after these messages from Social Security Board with the scores.
Life moves faster than you can imagine. Without Social Security, the poverty rate among seniors would be 4 times as high. By registering now and making your contributions, you can ensure a better life and a secure future. The Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board, growing to provide for you.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back again to the second encounter in the second match of the 2026 Junior Science Quiz competition. We have 2 schools that are competing to see who will be named the second school who will be added to our friends from the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary who earned the first spot in the second encounter. So we'll find out between the Princess Margaret and the St. Joseph's Academy who will be the second school. And in this second round, the scores were: the Princess Margaret received a total of 45 points. Please give them a round of applause. And the St. Joseph's Academy received a total of 50 points in that round. So, when added to their previous scores of 10 each, the St. Joseph's Academy has a 5-point lead with 60 points to the Princess Margaret Secondary's 55 points. But we're only halfway through, so it's still anybody's game at this point. Now, we move on to the third round in the competition, the explanation round or free response round. As always, this round requires our students to be given each an individual question, and they will be a little bit more expansive. They'll have to explain their answers. And as always, it's an individual team round, so we're going to say goodbye to our friends in the St. Joseph's Academy at this point. They'll be escorted out to a secluded area where they will not be allowed to hear the questions. And we will start with the Princess Margaret Secondary, and they will have their opportunity to answer the questions in this round. Now, my friends from Princess Margaret School, each of you will be given a question each. I'll read that question twice, and you have 10 seconds to begin to answer that question. If you get it right, it earns the team 10 points. If it is wrong, it will go over to the team for 5 points. And you can also pass it over to the team for 5 points if you want. And anybody can answer from the team once it goes over, and the team will also have 10 seconds to start to answer. I see you have also switched up your order here, so there must be some strategy there. But let's begin this time with Peyton. Peyton, you are going first in this round. Listen carefully. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. Explain the meaning of the terms mass and volume. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. Explain the meaning of the terms mass and volume.
Pass that to the team.
She's going to pass to her team for 5 points. And I'm afraid my timekeeper is telling me that it's time. So the answer we were looking for is that mass is the amount of matter in an object, so how much matter is contained in something, and volume is the amount of space it takes up, so how much space that it takes up. That's the difference between mass and volume. And now the second question, this is our math question, as always, will go to, this time it will be Mr. Reed, who is going to have his chance to answer. Listen carefully. The area of a square is 25 centimeters squared. What is the length of one side? The area of a square is 25 centimeters squared. What is the length of one side?
Five centimeters.
5 centimeters is indeed correct for 5 points. Well done, Mr. Jehu Reed. Now we'll go on to the last question in this round, and this will go to my friend, Mr. Jahai Cyprian. Jahai, here's your question. A science teacher says the laboratory thermometer has a linear scale. Explain what we mean by a linear scale. A science teacher says the laboratory thermometer has a linear scale. Explain what we mean by a linear scale.
To the team.
He says he's going to go to the team with that one. Linear scale.
It uses linear measurements.
It uses linear measurements. I don't think we can use a word in the definition to answer the definition. Judges, are you in agreement with me on that? So yes, we unfortunately cannot take that. So if you're going to say a linear scale, what you really are referring to is the fact that a scale, it is a scale where the markings are evenly spaced out. So a ruler, for example, is an example of a linear scale. All the markings on the ruler are evenly spaced out between one and another. Well done, valiant effort to the Princess Margaret School there. We will now invite our friends from the St. Joseph's Academy to come back into the room where they will have the opportunity to answer the questions in this round for 10 points each. So, boys, once again, each of you are going to get a question for 10 points each. And I will read that question twice. You have 10 seconds to begin to answer. If you get it right, it's 10 points. If you get it wrong, it passes to the team for 5 points. And you can also pass to the team if you don't know the answer for 5 points. Right? The team also has 10 seconds to answer, and anybody can answer at that point. So I believe now my first question will go to Ajani this time. So Ajani, here is your question. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. Explain the meanings of the terms mass and volume. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. Explain the meaning of the terms mass and volume.
Mass is the amount of matter in an object, and volume is the amount of space that object takes up.
That is correct for 10 points. We now move on to the team captain. Team captain, here is your question. Listen carefully. The area of a square is 25 centimeters squared. What is the length of one side? The area of a square is 25 centimeters squared. What is the length of one side?
5 centimeters.
5 centimeters is indeed correct for 10 points. For those of you at home who are wondering, you have to, of course, recognize that a square has the same length on both sides. It's a square. So if it's 25 centimeters squared, well, there are different ways you can do this, but you can, of course, take the square root and you'll get 5, because you're multiplying 5 by 5 to get 25 centimeters squared. All right. So let's move on to our last question in this round. Mr. Ranesh, here is your question. A science teacher says that the laboratory thermometer has a linear scale. Explain what we mean by linear scale. A science teacher says the laboratory thermometer has a linear scale. Explain what we mean by linear scale. And that is time, so it will go to the team.
Linear.
You want to repeat that, please? I didn't hear that. Linear scale is continuous, I'm hearing. So is that acceptable to all judges? No. So I will accept that it is not the correct answer. And that, of course, means that you did not score any points on that question. So that brings us to the end of that question, of that round, and we will be right back with the scores and the totals up until this point after these messages from the Social Security Board.
Life moves faster than you can imagine. Without Social Security, the poverty rate among seniors would be 4 times as high. By registering now and making your contributions, you can ensure a better life and a secure future. The Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board, growing to provide for you.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have now completed 3 rounds of competition, and I have to give you the scores. But during the break, my friend Ranesh told me I did not give you the definition of the word linear scale, the term linear scale. My apologies for that, Ranesh. It is when you have a scale where all the markings are evenly spaced. All the markings on the scale are evenly spaced. So, for example, a ruler. A ruler is an example of a linear scale. So, with that, we have completed the 3 rounds, the first 3 rounds of this match. And in that last round, the Princess Margaret Secondary scored a total of 10 points. Give them a round of applause. And the St. Joseph's Academy scored a total of 20 points in that round. Give them a round of applause, please. So the St. Joseph's Academy has inched ahead there with a difference now of 15 points. They have a total of 80 points to the Princess Margaret's 65 points. So we will now move on to our last round of competition. This is the beat the clock round. In this round, the teams will have a chance to score as many points as they can in 60 seconds. To run up the numbers, as I like to say, and to get their opportunity to get as many points as they can for their team. So, once again, this is an individual team round, so we will say goodbye to our friends from the St. Joseph's Academy as we give the Princess Margaret their opportunity to earn as many points in this round. The St. Joseph's Academy will, of course, be secluded and unable to hear the questions until it is their turn. So now I'm seeing that Peyton is back in the middle. Team Captain Peyton, you're going to be answering on behalf of your team?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to be speaking very loudly and clearly into the microphone so that the judges can hear your answer. Please be mindful that the official answer must come from you. Of course, your teammates can help you, but it is your answer that will count for scoring. I will only move on to a new question once I hear an answer or the word pass. Are we clear?
Yes.
Let's begin. In a mixture of sugar and water, what is the solute?
Sugar.
Cumulus, stratus, and nimbus are all examples of what?
Clouds.
What element has the symbol AU?
Gold.
Name the structure to which the eyelashes are attached.
The eyelids.
What physical quantity is measured using a spring balance?
Pass.
What term is used to describe a substance made up of several elements chemically combined?
Compound.
True or false? Sickle cell is an infectious disease.
False.
Which food test uses grease spots?
Pass.
Vessels that transport blood from the heart to other organs are called?
Capillaries.
What term is used to describe organisms that make their own food from sunlight?
Pass.
What term describes a set of connected food chains?
Food webs.
True or false? Scientists observe with their ears.
True.
Convection, conduction, and radiation are all forms of what process?
Pass.
What term is used to describe a tropical cyclone with wind speed over 74 miles per hour? You can answer that.
Pass.
And that brings us to the end of the Princess Margaret's turn. We will now bring back the St. Joseph's Academy, where they will have an opportunity to score as many points in the beat the clock round. Welcome back, boys. Had a brief break there. I see that team captain Dejan is in the middle, so you will be answering on behalf of your team, leading your team into the final round. Remember that the official answer is your answer. Your teammates, of course, can help you in this round, but only your answer counts. I will only move on to a new question when I hear an answer or the word pass. Each correct answer earns your team 5 points. Are you ready? All right, boys, let's begin. In a mixture of sugar and water, what is the solute?
Sugar.
Cumulus, stratus, and nimbus are all examples of what?
Atmosphere.
What element has the symbol AU?
Gold.
Name the structure to which the eyelashes are attached.
Eyelid.
What physical quantity is measured using a spring balance?
Pass.
What term is used to describe a substance made up of several elements chemically combined?
Compound.
True or false? Sickle cell is an infectious disease.
False.
Which food test uses the grease spot?
Fat test.
Vessels that transport blood from the heart to other organs are called?
Arteries.
What term is used to describe organisms that make their own food from sunlight?
Autotrophs.
What term describes a set of connected food chains?
Food web.
True or false? Scientists observe with their ears.
Pass.
Convection, conduction, and radiation are all forms of what process?
Heat transfer.
What term is used to describe a tropical cyclone with wind speed over 74 miles
Tornado.
per hour?
Hurricane.
What is a specific term used to describe the second organism in the food chain? You may answer that.
Sorry, I didn't repeat it.
I'm not allowed to repeat, so you may try and give an answer.
Herbivore.
Say it loudly, please.
Secondary consumer.
She said secondary consumer. All right, that is the end of this round, and we will be back with the final scores in this round and with the overall scores, and we will find out which team will advance to the second round, or the third round, I should say, of our competition, the semifinals, right after these messages from our corporate sponsors, the Social Security Board.
Life moves faster than you can imagine. Without Social Security, the poverty rate among seniors would be 4 times as high. By registering now and making your contributions, you can ensure a better life and a secure future. The Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board, growing to provide for you.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I think this is the last time I'll be telling you welcome back. This is the end of the second round, or the second match in the second round of competition. We had 2 schools who did their utmost best. They battled it out tonight to find out who would be advancing to the next round of competition, the semi-final round. Only one school can make it, but tonight we had a competitive match from the start. And I will now tell you the final scores along with the scores from the beat the clock round. So in that last round, the Princess Margaret Secondary scored a total of 40 points, which brings their total score to 105 points. Give them a round of applause. And the St. Joseph's Academy scored a total of 55 points in that round. When added to 80 points, their total score is now 135 points. So tonight, with a 30-point difference, the winners are the St. Joseph's Academy, and the St. Joseph's Academy will be advancing to the semi-final round of competition. Congratulations, boys. Job well done. To my friends from the Princess Margaret Secondary, Peyton, team captain, you have always represented your school admirably. I'm sure your coach, Mr. Mack, is very proud. Your teammates and your school are very proud of you. And remember, there's always next year. So we will see you again, well, maybe not you, this team, but the school again next year in the competition. Thank you so much for coming. And now we're going to turn over to the schools to give their final closing remarks. We'll start with the boys from the St. Joseph's Academy and go over to the team captain, Dejan.
First of all, I just want to thank God for the opportunity to be here. I also want to thank the people who helped us prepare, Mr. Anthony and the 4th formers at our school. And I just want to say that, and I also want to give gratitude to PMS for putting up a good fight.
All right, thank you very much, Dejan. We'll now turn over to Peyton to give her closing remarks.
I'd like to give thanks to God because without him we wouldn't have reached this far into the junior science quiz competition. I'd also like to pay my respect and thanks to my trainer, Mr. Mack. I'd also like to give respect to all of the people that competed against us. I'd also like to congratulate the St. Joseph Academy in this win.
And that was well said, very well said, Peyton. And I would like to thank some people as well. I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, the Antigua Barbuda Social Security Board, who makes all this happen. I'd like to thank my hard-working camera crew here and the team at the Education Broadcasting Unit for the work that they will be doing to put this production together. I'd like to thank my hard-working judges and my timekeeper for taking the time out to judge this competition. To my lovely studio audience, thank you for being so attentive and so loud and robust in your cheering. And to you, my listening and viewing audience at home, thank you so much for joining us each and every week to support our brilliant young minds here as they compete in this competition. We have now found out the first 2 schools in the Junior Science Quiz competition who will be advancing to the semi-finals. You have to join us again to find out who will be joining the Seventh-day Adventist and now St. Joseph's Academy in the semi-final competition. Next week, we'll be having the Antigua Grammar School versus the Antigua Girls High School. And I don't know about you, but I think that's going to be a very interesting one. 2 brothers and sister school up against one another. So we shall see how that goes, and you have to come back next week to find out the winners of that match. Thank you so much. God bless you and good night.
Life moves faster than you can imagine. Without Social Security, the poverty rate among seniors would be 4 times as high. By registering now and making your contributions, you can ensure a better life and a secure future. The Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board, growing to provide for you.